plate.
Yeah. By the way, you're trying to come from my crown as the biggest Hosmer hater on social media. I see what you're doing over there.
I mean, my goodness, it's
like, dude, I honestly, if Chris Matt did not move his head as fast as he did, he's in concussion. He's in concussion protocol right now because of Eric Hosmer.
yeah.
Like John sent me that video that you tweeted out, and we were just laughing our ass off because Chris Matt looked behind him, and Hosmer's throwing a fucking 97-mile-an-hour fastball at this dude's head. That wasn't even a good throw. Nola doesn't catch it. The play at the plate, the Rockies, like that should have been a run for the Rockies. That was a horrible call at the plate. And just I kept rewatching, and Chris Matt's like, oh shit, like, dude, it was going so fast at his head, he could have killed him, dude. It was so bad. Hosmer had just no regard for Chris Matt. If that ball
and then earlier in the game, dude, ground ball to him, and he just drops the ball.
He just drops the ball, dude. But the Chris Matt throw, like, I'm glad nothing bad happened, but all I could see in my head is that a video of Eric Hosmer throwing it 100 miles an hour off of Chris Matt's head, and the ball just flying into the stands. Like, that's all I was picturing when I was watching that video. And thankfully it didn't happen, but it's funny to laugh at because it didn't happen. I was just like, oh my God, he almost killed him. He almost killed Chris Matt. Oh, dude, it was ridiculous.
When I tweeted it out, I was like, maybe it's a stretch. I haven't seen the replay of the throw. And then I looked back at it. I'm like, no, this is pretty dang close.
Dude, it was so close. Chris Matt literally turned and the ball is like right by his face. It was so bad, guys. We have to laugh from crying because this fucking team, dude, we're going to lose our damn mind. Oh my God. Matthew, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate the super chat and appreciate you following the channel as well. I'm emotionally unavailable after this, but wanted to stop by and support the channel. Have a good night, all. Thank you. We understand. We know why. This team is very tough to watch lately, and it's very tough to watch just in general. But yeah, it's
5-12,
dude.
Last 17 games.
5-12. Oh my God. No, aren't they 6-13? Or are they 5-12?
Well, 6 was 13's 19.
Oh, got it. Well, duh. I'm not good at math. What's happening? Did you see the comment earlier? Like, this is weird. Jim's talking to his replacement. I was like, what? Thank you, Car Soap. Appreciate it. When you give up after Tatis trade deadline? Just, hey, when do we give up, guys? I want to know so I can have the rest of my summer plans. Don't give up now. It's not over yet, but it's not looking great. It's a situation where
weren't they 7? Oh my God.
Give up. Literally, people in the chat. Just when do I give up? When do I stop? Dude, oh my God.
They were 17 games over 500 at one point. They're 10 games over 500.
Yeah, it's not great.
The Dodgers, they were down 6-0 and won tonight. How's that?
Padres are up, and they well, never mind. It was just bad.
They were up by a combined 6 runs, and
they still lost. So there we go. And they lost by 4. That's not bad. Vector, thank you for the super chat. The silence around Tatis is so depressing. Yeah. I don't know what to. Honestly, I don't know what to truly make of it, other than once again you are just hearing things being pushed back and pushed back and pushed back, and it's like, oh, you'll get an update tomorrow. No update. Like, oh, he's gonna swing against air next week. Okay, when's he gonna start hitting balls? Like this, like, let's go here. And you see from Dennis, oh, he'll be back probably in August. Kevin, he'll be back in probably July, end of July. So there's so much misinformation, I feel like, going out there with these injuries, especially Tatis, who's the most important player in this franchise. And it's him, Manny, and then Musgrove. Those are the 3 most important players in this franchise. And if you have no idea when Tatis were going to return, with the way they're playing right now, this is when you start seeing fans truly, I feel like, not turning on Tatis, but it's coming back like, oh, that motorcycle accident and him breaking his wrist. Like, oh, now I'm even more pissed at Tatis, you know? And I don't think that's truly fair, but I understand where they're coming from. But again, I don't know. I don't know what the update on Tatis is. I don't know when we're gonna know, and we probably won't know until he's back in the lineup. You're like, oh, Tatis is back in the lineup. Great.
We're surprised by this. I
No,
was in studio and we saw the video of him swinging. And
I
it's
know.
like, oh, he has we're just looking off of how he's feeling. It's not based on the tests anymore.
Right.
Like,
I
are
don't
we
know.
surprised here? Like,
No,
I mean, they're not going to tell us anything.
nothing. They're not going to tell us anything. And like I said, I think honestly, we'll know when Tatis is back when he's in the lineup. Like as crazy and stupid as that sounds, I wouldn't be shocked if they're like, "Oh yeah, Tatis has been working out for the last 3 weeks, and we're activating him today." Like, "Oh, cool. That's cool." So Max, thank you, Max. Appreciate the super chat, man. Just a bad stretch, or are these the real Padres? It's a great question. And guess what? I'm stealing that for tomorrow's show. Thank you. I I don't know, man. What do you think? Do you think this is just a bad stretch, or is this like, hey, this is the real Padres team?
I mean, more bad stretch than real Padres. We don't know really. We haven't seen the complete Padres team, so it's hard for me to say, "Oh, this is the real Padres." Like they can't beat the Rockies for some reason.
Mhm.
Musgrove, he didn't have it tonight. In that what was the fifth inning.
Yeah.
So it's we just don't really we haven't seen the full Padres yet. And yes, it is a bad stretch. If if John's right, 5-12 in their last 17 games. I mean, yeah, that's a bad stretch.
That's
So
a
you're
bad
right on
month.
that, Max. And yes, when Tatis coming back, we're still going to have the same team essentially. So, yeah, you could say it's the real Padres, but we've also seen at some points this year where this team does score runs and it's not making these stupid errors and dropping balls in center field and running to third on a sack fly or a fly ball to left that shouldn't have
Yeah.
been a or tried to be a sack fly.
Mhm.
And I know Hosmer's always messing up, but they've been playing cleaner baseball earlier in the year compared to now. So I feel like if they get back to that, and Tatis, I'm not asking him to like be the saving grace, but you can't deny that this guy's a huge part of this team. He's the best
Yeah.
shortstop in baseball. Like he's gonna have a positive impact on this team, and you got to wait to see what Preller does, at the deadline. So I don't know if it's the real Padres. It is a bad stretch, though. Yeah.
I said this today on the radio on John and Jim that they're just they're just getting worse. Like I get the point. Like every team has bad stretches throughout a season, right? You have like a weak stretch where you're like, that team really bad. And then they're back to what they were. But it just feels like from the start of the season, when they started out really well, which they've done the last 2 years now, they have progressively got worse and worse by the month. And now you're seeing this month and you're like, this is becoming a tipping point for this season where you're like, yo, this team needs to turn it around fast, or you're going to be looking at a lot of teams in front of you in the postseason picture. And so I do feel like, yeah, you can argue that this is a bad stretch for this team, but I would say that if they were playing consistent baseball for this season instead of getting worse and worse and sloppier. Like these losses are just becoming more sloppy, and they're just piling up the ways that they're losing and how they're losing. Not like crazy losses in the ninth inning or whatever, but just the fact that they're just not scoring runs like at all. No power in this lineup at all. The pitching has carried this team, and you see now when the pitching comes down to earth a little bit what this team looks like. And this team looks like a 500 team at best when the pitching comes back to earth and not how they were for the first 2 months of the season. So, yeah, you can argue it's a stretch, but you can also argue that this was the real Padres as well. So, I think both are right. You can make an argument for either or. It's just like, when's it going to stop? And if it's going to stop, like, what's going to be the final, you know, thing that happens that either turns this team around in the right direction or never turns the team around and they continue to slide. So, right. Thank you, Pat, for the super chat. Can we start booing Hosmer? Start. New York and Philly fans do it and they're good. We got to expect better from these guys.
I think, yeah, they're talking about, I think, fans at Petco. Like, whenever he's introduced, like Hosmer, there's still a lot of cheers. It's like,
Yeah. I don't condone like the booing, but if I mean, you're a fan. You can do what you want as long as you don't say anything degrading or like over the line to some player. Like you can boo. That's 100% in the guideline of being a fan. Like if you go out there and you know talk about Hosmer's wife and yell it at him and or whatever it is, or his unborn child, and he hears it, like that's over the line, and you got to go. But if Hosmer grounds out to second for the 12th time in a row, and you boo because you expect more out of the baseball player Eric Hosmer, then that's your right. Like you have that right to do that. So I don't know if you can. I don't know if it's like, yes, I'm not going to say yes. Start booing Eric Hosmer and Trent Grisham. Like do what you want to do, but don't cross that line.
yeah, totally agree. I think just keep holding them to expectations because they're starting, or they're supposed to be starting on this team. They're making money, making millions of dollars, and we had, or at least the Padres, when they got them, they had higher expectations for those guys than what they're producing. So
Mm-hmm.
I think we need to hold them to those standards. And when they're not playing up to that level, yeah, you don't make it personal, but you get on them. I'm sorry, you can get on him.
Right. And let's see here. Where is it? I think Rich said it here. Yeah, I don't like booing my guys, but I will boo a bonehead play. Like if a guy makes an error, like, yeah, come on. What was it, cheer? What are we doing here?